Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. I'm Vikova, you can call me V, and today I am playing Roadwarden, which is going to be a wonderful distraction from the fact that I just launched my Kickstarter for my next book, and I'm so nervous. Like, it's going well, but I'm still really nervous, just as my anxiety response is always very, very high. Hello and welcome to Rowan and Jabal and Joe, if you can still hear me, and Quirrell and Fluffle and Calmly and Bacon and Zatnosk, hello! Thank you for the congratulations, Zatnosk. Okay, the game. Some settlements collaborate with the highwaymen, providing them with supplies and shelter in exchange for protection and loot. I think we've already encountered that in the game. Alright. I think at the moment we're trying to get hold of the bandits. It feels like it was a century ago that we last did this. Hang on. It doesn't take long for the sounds of wheels and boots. Oh, we're heading to the tree, the ambush tree. We're taking everyone down to the ambush tree and we're finding out what happened. I forgot about this. We're going to clear it. It doesn't take long for the sounds of wheels and boots to cut through the songs of birds and insects. Your loud journey is accompanied not just by the sounds of trampled and kicked rocks, but also the conversations of the woodcutters, who are spread around without many worries. You cross the thin gorge where Ephron, the hunter, is waiting on the side of the road. He stands still, looking around like a gate guard from the city. But once you get closer, he joins you with an excited look and light steps, shaking the wolf's head. Don't worry, friend. You may be here to protect us, but my destiny is to keep you breathing to the very end. Aw, that's so nice. Yeah, I hope your audio sorts stabilizes, Quirrell and Fluffle. Skrillex, hello! So, let's see. And what happens after the end? That seems fun. There may never be one, or we may not see it coming. His tone is cheerful as he glances at the humble caravan. But don't worry, I have a feeling a good day is ahead of us. You move past the tavern and head south, where you encounter Ilan and Zvi, the foragers. They move through the meadows with long sticks in hand and baskets on their backs, seeking food in the meadows, while also scaring away any potential snakes. Once they notice your expedition, they run up to the road, where the larger man asks the others about their health and days. After a few minutes, they reach you and Ephron. You both look like a flock of vagabonds and a squad of guards with all these axes and spears, says Ilan. Weird to see you all in one place, without the walls to hide you, crude as they are. This catches my interest. The palisade isn't that bad. Rowan says, as I am not a long, sneaky dragon, pictures of humans in the pose will be of limited value. I love it. Ilan looks at you with an open mouth, then glances at Zvi, who simply shrugs. It rots a lot, and some creatures squeeze through the beams, especially in the back. They steal food, and this one time they took a baby. Ephron's voice is unusually tired. My brother often says he'd like to make a wall of stone, but who knows when we'll have enough to buy it. After that, the foragers speak briefly about the plans your group has for the rest of the journey, then announce it's time for them to get back home. I wish them a safe walk. The farther away you get from the foraging ground, the more quiet the tribesfolk grow. The hours of wayfaring are getting to your legs, and the atmosphere grows tense as some of your weaker companions are asking to be pulled on the carts for at least a few minutes. Ephron looks behind, then at you. Do you ever sing in Offlaven during work? His words are so loud you have no doubt that the rest of the group also heard them. Let's see, we sing the songs of the sea, sailors bringing them to fishers and dockhands, and it spreads from taverns to homes. We still remember the tunes from before the war. The city folk find strength when they hear tales of the 10 cities. Our songs are a bit more tame than the ones from the villages. Some themes sound too awkward when the priests are around. No, it would slow down the labourers. I like the songs of the sea. It sounds nice. How do they go? You recognise Shoshi's voice. You start with your favourite shanty, leading the group through the quick repetitive melody as a lead, then giving them time to repeat the last few words. Once everyone learns how to follow, the woman replaces you, giving your poor throat some rest, but also adjusting the words slightly. Ships turn into boats, krakens into dragons. It's hard to tell anymore if it's a song about missing home from the waves of the ocean or being lost in the woods. Oh, I love that. This is how stories grow. Imagine saying I stopped singing, annoyed that they reject the proper way. How dare you turn this song into something relevant to you? No, this is how stories grow. Rowan says it's a great pity I've always wanted to be a long snaky dragon. It's pretty great for us, even in the capacity that I get to be one. I wish I could do that with my physical body as well. We can eat here, declares the hunter as you approach the watchtower, and ask the people behind him to spread the news. The carts and travellers gather in the middle of the crossroads, forming a defensive circle, while some of the folk unpack food rations. Before you sit down on the grass, Ephron hands you a humble set of pears and cold roasted meat, and steps away with a smile. You hear him entering and exploring the tower. Once he gets back, he triumphantly raises his sharpened cudgel. If there's one spot on the eastern path we need the most, it's this one, you understand. The wolf's head drops on his back, so he adjusts it. And with your help, the tower is ours! I smile back, that's right, or I say I consider his words. The locals may not be too eager to give the tower back to the city soldiers. I'm not giving shit to Hovlavin. I smile back, that's right. This is so lovely. Srillik says, who among us has not desired to be a long snaky dragon at some point or another? Absolutely. Some of the tribesfolk wander a bit farther away, searching the tall grasses for food, as if their habits are stronger than fear. But after the hunter orders them to regroup, they stay disciplined. After a short break, the expedition starts to restore its previous shape, while you and the hunter leave them behind, scouting ahead. The overgrown path twists between the hills and bushes. This route has issues much larger than a fallen tree. Your companion's voice is tired and quiet. 2, maybe 3 more years, and it will be safer to block it completely. Both of you reach for your blades when a sudden cry comes from down the road. It resembles an ape, a young troll, or a human tormented by visions. It lasts for a few breaths and ends as abruptly as it started, but isn't followed by any attack or even footsteps. Stay here. I crawl my way up a hill and observe the area through the shrubs. Quirrell says, why would you do stuff for Hovlavin? It's not like they're paying you, even if they were. Yeah, just the amount that you have any ties to Hovlavin is just meaningless to me in this game. The ties we have to the people here, and allying with Hovlavin obviously is not beneficial to the people here. So I don't know why I would do that to them. You push away the leaves and once again hear the cry. It comes from one of the goblins gathered at the side of the road, none of which looks in your direction. Their thick furs and shades of brown and black make you realize that you've encountered the very same pack in this area before. Most of them stand still and in silence, either on all fours or using their crude sticks and clubs to remain upright. 2, however, are hitting the ground with their fists and shaking the empty shell of yet another goblin, an elder covered with grey fur, whose upper half is leaning against a tree, while the bottom half is a few feet away in a puddle of blood. The guts spilling out of its stomach don't suggest a promising diagnosis. You get back to Ephron, who's too focused on his cudgel to adjust the tilted wolf's head. So? Goblins more than a dozen, they're mourning their dead leader, or a small pack of goblins is too stupid to realize their leader is dead. Oh my gosh. They're mourning their leader! So it's been wailing. I didn't know they cared. I mean, they get caught by beasts as often as we do. He then frowns, as if his words made him unsure. But after he shakes his head and adjusts his hat, his confident self returns. Well, there's more of them among the trees. Keeping watch. Let's gather a fair group of fighters and strike them first. I don't want to fight them. What if they just run? They're mourning. They're having a horrible time. Come on. They're people. We've got it. The only way for people to stop treating goblins like they're just dangerous, like, animals is to treat them like people, because they are people. Even if they're people opposed to us. What? There's no need to hurt them. They'll flee from our loud wheels in large numbers. And why would you care? His whisper gets louder, and you catch a hint of disgust. The more of these vile creatures we take down, the more merciful the woods become for us. I have knowledge. The people of the creeks don't care about gods and spirits. This pack is too small to present a real threat. There's plenty of food in the forest. A few goblins won't make any difference. Leaving blood and corpses will teach predators that there's free food to pick here. Having this pack around sustains the road. Yeah, I think that's probably true. They're protecting it. If we can live in peace with them, that's positive. Quirrell says they're not dangerous animals, they're dangerous people. Exactly. Calmly says people are people regardless of if they're against you or not. Exactly. Look, it sustains the road. He listens to the brief story of your previous encounters with the creatures and crouches to inspect the beaten path. Their footprints are here, he says to himself, and stands up and fixes the wolf's head. Good call. Let's tell the others to have weapons at hand and to make as much noise as they can. Once you reach the rest of the expedition, the instructions are clear and simple, though a few voices argue it would be better to fight. Ephron mentions your conversation and says that we pay the Roadwarden for guiding us, so he won't ignore direct instructions. You make sure to be louder than you need, adding the occasional shout and the sounds of wooden handles hitting the wagons to the noise of boots and wheels. When you reach the bloody spot, you only find the legs and loins of the grey goblin. While one of the woodcutters mentions it's too bad there will be no goblin tusks for necklaces, he's quickly told to use his wit. Roadwarden says the goblins scare beasts away from this road, says a forager. It's better for us this way. Hearing the following aye makes you confident in your judgment. The hunter seems grumpy. I'll just stay out of his way. I'm so pleased we got to make that decision. We're changing things a little bit, not just for the humans, but also for the other beings here. I love it. Maybe I doubt we're gonna have friendly interactions with goblins in this game, but if we could lay the foundations for people to begin thinking of them as potential allies instead of enemies, that would be huge. Skrillex says symbiosis. Exactly. That's not too bad, says Shoshi as you reach the fallen tree. It's thin. We can surround it. The workers divide the tools and use the carts and wagons to form a barricade, explaining that they'll move them once again when it comes to loading timber on them. You prepare your own belongings when you notice that the tribe awaits your command. You can start whenever you're ready. I'll keep an eye on our surroundings. Quirrell says this game is a slow burn. All the effort you made weeks ago is all finally paying off. It is. It's true. I think it's actually fascinating how this works. Jabal says, I'm not 100% sure if I think goblins in this setting are people, but I am not sure they need to be people to be worthy of respect and worth keeping a more symbiotic relationship with. I completely agree with that sentiment, although I do think the goblins in the setting are people. They have clothes, they have tools, they mourn their dead. And even if they didn't have those things, I would be inclined. I kind of, honestly, IRL, I believe, like, chimpanzees are people. You know, apes are people. I would be hard-pressed not to say most animals are people, too. But certainly goblins in this game seem like very human-like people, at least on par with chimpanzees. And probably a lot more. The broken wagon is the first task that the workers take care of. The few dozen souls that arrived here would be enough to simply push the tree to one side, and what would be an exhausting task for lesser numbers will take them little time. You use the crags to observe the area, moving around without haste. The distracting noises of your group scare away many creatures. The eyes that observe you are mostly spread among tree crowns and the highest points of the hills. You spot a few ibexes, monkeys, and many birds, but no cats, runners, dragonlings, or wolves. I missed sitting in a saddle. Conley says, people is not a human word. It can apply to all types of species. Fluffle says, I'm pretty sure birds are people. Oh, I'm totally with you. Quirrell says, isn't Joe a goblin? Yes, Joe is a goblin. Joe relates so strongly to goblins in video games that they struggle to play games where you kill goblins. Which is, I mean, I struggle too, but Joe just can't. Fluffle says, in my judgment, any species that has language is people. Yeah? I miss sitting in a saddle. The saws and axes split the tree in a few spots at once, while the less experienced members of the group trim the branches and carry loads of wood, until they're asked to replace the exhausted woodcutters. Then the work slows down, but never stops, and while the constant noise finally lures the presence of a small dragon that's walking on 4 legs, each one as large as a human, seeing your large group makes it turn back, even though you would most likely be unable to pierce through its skin. After another few hours, no one has enough fortitude to start another conversation. Once the carts and wagons are ready, the crew demands a half-an-hour break. We can't really avoid it. What's a runner in this setting? I'm not sure. It's either the birds or it's a big, fast lizard. Skrillex says it's very hard to say even cow aren't people. Yeah. Calmly says too many games and stories has that one species that are considered fodder or inherently evil, but I find that inherently problematic. Did you read the Sam Vimes Discworld story tackled this? I did. I really enjoyed Snuff. And yeah, I mean, I think within the bounds of this game, certainly goblins are not treated very much like people. But I feel like there's the hints there that they should be. And in general, I don't like it when stories reduce groups of people or things that have all the signifiers of being human-like to just being evil, bad, vermin. It's just terrible. Alcor says the most universals of those are giant rats. I hate killing rats in video games. I absolutely hate it. Totally with you. Kroll says, Snuff I thought was a little heavy-handed. Yeah. It was still really good, though. Jabal says, if you expand the definition of people to include real-world chimps, dolphins, etc., then I think it becomes totally fair to classify these goblins as people. My personal use definition of that particular word is just a little bit more restrictive, bent toward familiar hominid norms, I think. So I do really kind of use people to mean that definition, although it's a little hazy at times. But I think that they fit the hominid norms. I think these goblins are very like humans. The road back is rough. The heavy blocks of wood require the dragging crew to take turns every few minutes or so, hoping that no one will be pushed to exhaustion. Crossing the bridge is the worst part. Lifting and dropping the vehicles is too dangerous for the primitive wheels, and one of them breaks, needing to be replaced on the spot. One of the foragers finally proposes heaping up soil into temporary gentle slopes, which once again takes a lot of time. You and Ephron sit down at the stream bank, observing the water. Let's hope we reach the tavern before nightfall, he states simply. You're so exhausted that seeking an answer takes you a bit of time. Ela asked me to put up this painted plank somewhere around here, I mutter and get up. I look at the workers. You could use a better bridge, maybe one made of wood. I might do the one with Ela. The brother. Rowan says, I felt like Snuff really undermined its own message by having the goblins only value for the demonstrable skills. Yes, that is very true. I mean, the difficulty with Snuff and with, I think, a lot of Discworld novels that try and tackle quite sensitive subjects is that it's very heavy-handed, as Quirrell said, but also there's a little bit of a lacking of nuance there. And you do see that in Snuff. Mitch, hello. Hi, Mitch. I'm doing well, thank you. I'm in distraction mode right now with the game, which is going well. The convenient remains of a shrub help you tie the plank above the ground. After a few minutes, you step away and take a look at the new sign. It may save someone's life. I'd rather see people building new paths, not hide them. I wonder if the days of iron nails are ever coming back. What soul would enter a path that looks like this anyway? Well, that was easy. It may save someone's life. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Any goose-based shenanigans in this one, says Mitch? I'm afraid not. This game is a very dark, like, grim-dark kind of fantasy world, although we've been being friendly and helpful to absolutely everyone we meet, no matter how much they seem to dislike us, and it's been paying off, because I don't know how many hours we're onto this, 20 hours, something like that. So it's taken a while, but we're starting to pay off. How are you doing anyway, Mitch? Alcor says, are there any geese or domesticated birds in general in Outer Wilds? I haven't encountered any. Haven't really encountered any animals other than the anglerfish. Stilix's honk. Foggy and her crew welcome you at the gate with their few tables, benches and chairs moved outside the palisade, inviting everyone to sit down and eat, though more than half of the crew has to sit down on the wagons. 2 of the foragers refuse the meal, instead laying on the soft grass. You all get a bowl of warm stew, heavy and fat, with snake eggs placed on top of a piece of pheasant meat. The vegetables are properly seasoned and juicy, though you'd love to have an extra pinch of salt. The worst part of the road is behind you, and while people remain quiet, they eat with enthusiasm. The tavern keeper approaches you and Ephron. It may be dark, but you feel as if she's covering you with a devouring shadow. Well, loves, how's the road? Worth the effort? I try to keep the conversation going. I'm having a nice time socializing with people in the game right now. This is the most positive interaction I've ever had in this game. Mitch says, I'm doing okay, work is not being my friend, but we persevere. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, work. Alcor says, I'm picturing a flock of anglerfish milling around a farmyard. Oh, no. While the hunter sighs, too tired to say a word, you indulge her appetite for gossip. You describe what you've seen, and as she scratches her large chin, she seems unsure what to say. So the real gloom is behind the tower, but even before it, we'd need more work. You chit-chat until Ephron starts to wake up the napping workers with his boot. I smile at her. No time to waste, I guess. This has gone so well. Saved! A woman with a big axe crosses the gorge with laughter, and the expedition leaves the carts and wagons in front of the bridge. Seeing how dark it is, you're not surprised to learn the unloading will occur after dawn. Not like anyone's going to steal it, says one of the foragers, though everyone makes sure to take the remaining food rations. We were lucky, but let's not tempt the beasts, says a hunter. The rest of the tribe welcomes your group from the open gate, and relieved laughter fills the little village. They seem surprised to learn that no one got seriously wounded. Talon, hello! Ela and Ephron share a brief embrace, but the carpenter doesn't hesitate to mention the hunter's smell. You realize you also need a long bath. Time to collect my reward, or if they betray me now, I'll kill them all. What kind of a horrible, awful, just monster would say this? No, I'll just collect my reward. The carpenter reaches for a lit torch and asks you to follow him. 5 dragons is a lot, but I'd pay 4 times as much for keeping everyone safe. You did a good job, friend. I didn't do anything. We just made some friends with the goblins. Sort of. He opens the wooden cask and counts down the pieces of bone. Tell me, Strider, what do you think? How's the road? You now know how a merchant may feel on it. It could be worse. It's shit. You need a year-long Roadwarden or a group of soldiers. It's empty but beautiful, even the old abandoned structures. You realize I've seen many, many roads. There's nothing unique about this one. Protected and it'll be safe, and neglected and it'll be lost. It's empty but beautiful, even the old abandoned structures. He gives you a surprised look. Not an answer I was expecting. He pushes the coins toward you with a single confident gesture. The few times I've travelled to Gale Rocks, I mostly saw rocks to crush, trees to chop, meadows to forage at. Though I'd expect you need to feel some pleasure from travelling or you'd go insane. I wait patiently. The carpenter pauses for a longer while, then starts to draw an invisible map on the workbench with his fingers, muttering to himself. Yes, he says slowly. You've already done more on the road than I've expected, friend. I dare say more than any outsider in this generation. The tribe can take it from here. He reaches for something resting on a log beneath the table, then turns toward you. You already received your pay, but maybe you'd like to take a hair pelt as a gift? Foggy doesn't need it, but you'll get a dragon or two for it in another village. You take a look at the fine fur and roll it into a more mobile shape. Seeing how Ela observes you, you tell him to just ask. I can't figure out what pushed you to be this much of a help to us, friend. I know some of the things you've seen were just on your path, but others took a true risk. It's just what a Roadwarden ought to do. Your pay was fair and I needed it. Creeks is a lovely place. I hope it succeeds. I smirk. Oh, I do have my reasons. No. Creeks is lovely. I hope it succeeds. His proud smile is followed by a victorious stance. It's one of a kind, and living here is only going to get better. I'll put my whole life into making sure of that. He rests one hand on his stomach and reaches out to you with the other one. Come here another spring, or later. You'll see a real change in the peninsula. I shake his hand. I'm sure I will. Can I just live here and never go back to Hovlavin? I'll just live at Foggy's house and have a good life. How about that? I'm missing lots of chat right now. I'm sorry about that. Let's see. His large hand is calloused, and even the brief touch is enough to notice the cuts and chopped off skin, signs of his amateurish labour. I doubt you'll find much more to do on this route, but if I turn out to be wrong, let me know. He then sits down on the stool and looks at his tools with a big smile. What do you know about the ruins of the village in the south? He freezes for a good moment, and finally takes a deep breath, puts away his tools and looks you in the eyes. His fingers are moving slowly, as if he's trying to warm them up before playing on a lute. Don't push me onto those dark grounds, Strider. I've been stepping on them for years, but I still struggle. Please. Ela, I need to know what happened 10 years ago. Don't you trust me? I do, Strider, I do. His voice is close to a whimper. But can't you see I'm in pain? I beg you, let me die with this shame. Aren't we friends? Ela had something to do with the actual cursing? His hands are clasped on his stomach, putting pressure on it, as if he's trying to stop some invisible bleeding. I don't know what to do here. I don't want to force him, but we could do something good about that village if we just knew what was going on. Oh yeah, Mitch, do try not to be ableist around here. Jabal says, I think you should ask him to be honest. I think I will. Deal with your shame by being honest with me. He bites his lower lip and looks away. Troll piss and shit, Roadwarden. Fine! He stands up, pointing at you with his clenched fist, suddenly filled by a spirit you've never seen before. What do you want me to say? That I was there, as well as my parents and parents of others from our village? That Thias wanted to make an example of Steep House, and told us to either help her or be next in line? Thias? He spreads his arms. I, the great uniter of the North. We went there with her myrmidons, left dust and hunger behind, and the beast herds came after us, angry for the burnt and cut trees. Too bad, once that happened, no soul wanted to deal with that two-faced weasel. His voice cracks. We cut the flesh of innocents to save our own, and we got nothing from it. You flinch when he raises his hand and moves toward you, even though his gesture is not so much an attack as a way for him to let out some of his fire. Seeing your reaction, he slows down, but that only makes his voice louder. You already knew all of that, didn't you? And you just had to test my last wits for your games? What, you think you'll take the blood from my blade and wake up that fucking boy? Other people in the yard cease their work and observe you. You hear a child crying. Oh, wow. Thias is awful. Oh my gosh. So he was a child then. I raise my voice. I didn't know you had killed anyone, Ela, but you're lucky that you face no consequences, even if you deserve them. Now step away. I speak softly. You're a victim, not the villain. Thias would have struck them with or without you, and maybe kill you as well. But you're alive, and you try to put your life to good use. I try to stay quiet. I wasn't there. I have no clue what you went through. Maybe you deserve your pain, maybe not. I won't judge you. I mean, it sounds like this was very much Thias' fault. You're a victim, not a villain. This is Thias' fault. There are no words, he starts, swallowing his tears, then flounders through sounds. No words that can wash my dreams, Strider. I can't be forgiven, and I can't fix anything. He turns around and lurches into the building with his tools. The sad looks of others still follow you, but the life returns slowly to the small village of Creeks. We'll speak another time. Steep House. Oh wow, we've unlocked another new part of the game. Having discovered the truth, you could force the people of Howler's Dell to confront their past, though they may not take kindly to your threats and requests. The more you'll learn about their deeds and conflicts, the more tools you'll have to use against them, if they will listen to me at all. Wow. We could take down Howler's Dell? I mean, we know they're evil. They were letting... They tried to punish me and the Forest Elder, the Forest Speaker, for saving Old Pagos from plague. And indeed, they might have had the means the whole time to save Old Pagos. But I had no idea that they destroyed the village. Or what they put all of these people from Creeks through. Thias is the mayor of Howler's Dell. Yeah. Alright, okay. Let's see. Wow. It's nighttime. I have to seek shelter. This conversation has taken us too late. I can get to Foggy Lake. I got there safely. Oh, I'm really gross right now. 1 out of 5 appearance. Alright, let's go to sleep. I can sleep for free. My appearances are going to be 0. You are in the labyrinth alleys, in Steep House, which shifts after every step. You wander by the blooming gardens, burning houses, laughing newlyweds, cut off limbs, fresh hair pies, chewed bones, carts loaded with barrels and falling trees. You're sitting at a table in front of the Ape Ale Inn, surrounded by laughing skeletons. Thias, naked and covered in blood and ashes, holds your hand, forcing you to stuff your mouth with raw meat from a bottomless bowl. Every bite, tasting like the metal of an old key, burns your mouth, but you can't scream. The unyielding grasp brings pain and delight in equal measure, and you wouldn't dare to try to escape it. The smoke coming from your roasting flesh starts to fill your eyes, but they have no tears to spare. You wake up and reach for a water skin so you can rinse the ash from your hand. It takes you a few heartbeats before you realize where you are. Oh, Renaldroy, hello! Renaldroy says, whoa, stinky stat. That's always fun. It is fun. It causes me a lot of problems. Everyone, this is Renaldroy is an artist on Fetty who's done me an awful lot of art, including a lot of the art for Kin and for the non-player character Kickstarter campaign. So, yes, they're amazing. Let's see. Jabal says Roadwarden doing a late game attempt to catch up in Outer Wilds on horror game vibes here. Yes, absolutely. I was just thinking this is heavy. I mean, it's been a heavy game, but this is heavy, heavy, heavy. Okay. Those monsters, if there was justice in this world, they would face the gravest punishment. The villagers wouldn't have agreed to it if they knew what was to come. Thias lied to them, and she's the one who bears the responsibility. I've only seen one side of the story. I'm sure the people of Howler's Dell felt they were justified and things just got out of control. No. The villagers wouldn't have agreed to it if they knew what was to come. I don't know. The villagers... Thias had the backing of the Howler's Dell villagers in order to do what they did to Steep House, right? I mean, I don't think this is just Thias. I'm not sure. Am I reading the context right? We're talking about the villagers of Howler's Dell, not of Creeks. Coral says, I mean, now that we're seeing what happened, it's no wonder anyone here trusts anyone outside their own village. Yes, absolutely. It's, yeah. Oof. Jabal says, I'm not sure which villages we're discussing, possibly all of them. I don't blame the people who were coerced. Yes, Fluffle, we're having a nightmare right now. Going over the things that we've learned. Thias bears the responsibility, but I think that the villagers of Howler's Dell do as well, and anyone who willingly participated, it wasn't coerced. Alright, we need to eat. That's beautiful. I think we need to buy some more meals. We need to go and bathe. Alright, what should we do now? Hang on, let's have a little save. We need to... I don't want the support of Howler's Dell. Oh yeah, of course, Thias wanted me to spy on everyone else. Fucking Thias. We need to go to the hidden village of the tribe of the Green Mountain. We need to gather the crew. We need to see the bandits. Now, where are the bandits? We have the information. Don't we know where the bandits are? It's not saying in my journal. Was I told about how to find the bandits? I don't remember. I think that might be the next thing to do. Ronald Ray says, I just woke up and had a few spare minutes to pop in. Gotta head to work now. Thanks so much for dropping by. It was lovely to see you. Jabal says, so Ree, what next? We still have the tribe of Green Mountain and High Island to do. We've not got super far with working out what to do about the undead problem, or undead general solution, if you want to see it in that way, in White Marshes. And we've got stuff to sort out with Howlers too. Yes. Bandits are north of the middle of the forest. Can we go past the fallen tree now? Oh, that's a good point. Alright, let's have a look. We cannot go past the fallen tree. We've just joined this up in a faster travel sort of way. So I think that we should probably go this way. If we go this way, we can head to the Hidden Tribe. Alright, we'll take a vote. Would you rather I went and met the Hidden Tribe, or we went and looked at the bandits? I think those are the places I want to go right now. I'm coming back for Hallisdale, though, don't worry. Thias will face justice, but I want to have as much goodwill and backup as I can before then. Cyrillic votes Hidden Tribe. Jabal votes Hidden Tribe. Quirrell also votes Hidden Tribe. We'll just go Hidden Tribe. That's quite a lot of votes for Hidden Tribe. Let me go and get a nice shower. Nice little stream bath. The gentle wind is swinging the willow's twigs. 1, maybe 2 more years and their tips will pierce the brook's surface. The statue stands in all its glory, observing the road and those who use it. The coin you left in the wooden bowl is no longer here. I washed myself. Yes! 4 out of 5 appearance! Yes, yes! Good enough! Oh, my fish trap! You pull the rope and see 2 flopping fish inside. You prepare your axe, then open the lid and reach for your catch. You stun the animals one by one with 2 careful blows on the top of their heads, then finish them off with a knife, cutting underneath the gill plates. You spend another minute or 2 bleeding out the fish in the brook, then cover them with a waxed linen sheet. You should eat them before they spoil. I'm going to set the fish trap again. Hang on. Do I have some other fish that I need to eat before they spoil? Raw fish. I have 4 raw fish. Could be bartered. I'll take them with me for now. We're going Hidden Tribe, everyone. We've got full appearance. We look amazing. Because of we're shining with vitality because we've achieved our goal of helping people. But we're not done. Just because we've achieved enough to feel satisfied doesn't mean we're done helping people. The grand brown and grey mountains are blocking the horizon, and you doubt the path is going to reach the snow-covered peaks. Without trees and clouds blocking your view, you're like an ant approaching a fortress. Let's hope there are some benches for me to take a break from climbing. I wonder what kind of beasts hide among the rocks. Yeah, let's be on alert. Quirrell says, what are fish? We just don't know. We just don't know. What is this? Look at this statue, everyone. The unbodied keeper of the garden is standing still, with a dark cloak on their shoulders and an eyeless face observing the woodlands. Their club, more than 3 times as tall as you are, is made of a single piece of rock and could squash you by simply collapsing without anyone's will. A set of stairs leads into a convenient corridor-like ravine. The gentle wind carries no shouts or sense of blood, so this is a huge statue for anyone who can't see the screen. Let's see. We have knowledge! I see something among the rocks. One of the rocks placed behind the statue does not belong here. A dark basalt, the size of your fist. You look at the mountain peaks and let out a sigh. You could use such a rock to make blinding powder, but smashing it into dust won't be enough. You have to perform the ritual the right way, ideally at the top of the mountain, or at least as high as you can get. For now, you put the rock into a sack. I need to like ritually smash the basalt? That's cool. I approach the statue. Stormy sounds? Concerned? The statue's face has no features and the shell ends with the neck, revealing a dark space instead of a torso. You lean closer and notice the coarseness of black and grey gritstone, and how bitten by time it is. Both the figure and the Sokol? Can anyone look up what the word Sokol for me? That's curious. Are stained with white guano. Still, it's extraordinary work. The weight of the giant doesn't rest on its club, but rather on the boots, which are cleverly attached to the cloak. Sooner or later something will break, most likely the arms. Without them, the statue won't hold its stance. Calmly says the sound design in this game is so good. It is. Let's see if it reacts to my actions. What do you try to do? Example talk. Kiss? Alco says German Sockel means pedestal. The Sokol is the plinth. Oh! Thank you. New word. In architecture, a circle is a short plinth used to support a pedestal, sculpture, or column. Amazing! Everyone's giving me so much info! Thanks, everyone! Okay. I want to kiss it. You know I do. Greet. I'm gonna say hello. It doesn't bow back. Aww. Hug. The stone is cold. Pet. Kiss. The stone is cold and coarse, not very tasty. Well, we've been as friendly as we can. What am I doing with this statue? Sing? You hum a simple tune from the docks of Hovlav and the statue remains the same. Pray? Oh, good one. Pray. You try to utter a simple prayer, but as a minute goes by and you shift your weight from one leg to the other, you struggle to focus. I struggle to focus? I mean, I struggle to focus all the time, but I didn't think... Coral says, just remembering V kissing the magic tree and their lips going numb. I was right! Beholder, the zombie tree was my friend! Examine? Oh, that's good. You find nothing new about the statue, nor the area around it. The statue's face has no features, and the shell ends with a neck, revealing a dark space instead of a torso. Okay, this is all we read before. Okay. Stand in torso? Push? I don't want to push it! What if it's a people, like Beholder? Examine base? Examine base. No. Hit it with a dead fish. Offer, yeah. You touch your skin with the edge of your knife. Yeah, I'll sacrifice some blood to it. I got that idea because of the hitting it with a dead fish. I was like, or I could offer the fish, and then I was like, offering? I sacrifice my blood. Oh look! Still full though. You leave a red splash on the socle, then bandage your wound and wait for a moment. Nothing seems to happen. Alright. Will I ever get that back? You're standing in front of the statue. Nothing happened. Dance? What do I have? What could I give? I don't really have much to give. I light a candle? Compliment? Yeah, we don't... Coral, I think you're right. Coral says, I don't think you have enough information to do anything. I probably don't. So I can just travel on for now. Maybe we'll learn more. If I try to awaken it. Yeah, you're trying to awaken it. Talk? Yeah, I don't think I know. I wish I could awaken it. Zan, hello! We're traveling. I want to wake up the statue. Seeing how steep this part of the road gets, you dismount. It will be safer for you to get a bit tired now than to push Shadowfax onto the verge of fatigue. You take a sip of water and start climbing. The road is winding and narrow, but it would fit a single wagon if it wasn't for the sporadic rocks and boulders blocking the path. Some of the larger ones are resting just in the middle, and as you look above, you struggle to recognize where they came from. They were placed here on purpose. Oh, down there's some kind of creature body with like a nest over it. The strong wind, the wooden bridge connecting the rock ledges, the unusual terrain. You can't pay attention to any of that right now. A creature larger than a bear steps away from its nest, then screeches at you through its sharp, black-tipped, golden eagle-like beak. It spreads its wings as wide as a barn gate. You stay in your saddle. I examine The beast. Sorry, what spear? I look at the spear? On the ground there's a spear, I see. Yeah, maybe it is a griffin. Good shout. Examine the beast. Its movements are deliberate and confident. It makes a tiger-like leap, then stands still like a statue while the brown, white, and yellow feathers covering the front half of its shell are still dancing with the wind. The wings hinder your sight, so you spot only glimpses of the cat-like claws and the clay-like fur. The large chest rises and falls slowly. The noble griffin's yellow eyes speak only of violence. Its curved beak is longer than your forearm, and the talons on its forepaws are like sickles. You don't doubt that its cruel promises may not only be fulfilled, but are a certainty. A single human, with but a simple blade and a fistful of herbs, would never survive clashing with a monstrosity of this size. You don't have time to mull it over. The beast leaps toward the rock face. After it flaps its wings, the gust of wind brushes your hair. Time for us to go. Yeah. It's not going to fight us. Good. Zan says his eyes speak only of violence. I've met people like that. Okay, moving on. The winds, cold sweat, and altitude make you want to simultaneously take off your cloak and put on some heavier clothes. At least Shadowfax doesn't seem to care. You take deeper breaths. The path ahead seems gentler. There are no more trees, and you're surrounded by grasses, pebbles, sporadic bushes. You look down at the herds gathering around the stream, the rustling leaves and the birds, large and small, flying above the forests of the peninsula. From here, everything seems calm. Too bad most people will never catch such a view. It's just an illusion. These trees hide blood, blades, and claws. I wish I could see all this from the peak of the mountain. Too bad most people will never catch such a view. A loud screech reaches you from up the path, where at the top of a crag you see a massive saurian standing on 4 limbs. It's displaying proudly its dark green skin with a bit brighter stomach, and orange stripes on its legs and eyebrows, as well as the tail, which is swinging left and right. The size of the monster makes you stop, but before you turn around, you realize there's a short woman sitting on its back, dressed in a red gambeson and an iron helmet, with green pants that blend in with her mount. You can't see the details of her hair, but she's not attacking you just yet, resting the blunt edge of her spear on the ground. Her other hand holds the reins, attached to a bridle put on the monster's head, cramping its wide mouth. What if this is a Styrian saurian? Didn't Asterion had a saurian? Let's see. She raises her weapon in a greeting and speaks in a language that at first confuses you, but you manage to figure out a few of the words. She's using the old speech, the almost forgotten tongue of your ancestors, though in a dialect so distant that you doubt you could speak freely with her. You think she's saying something similar to, "Greetings, traveller. Are you lost?" The old speech. I greet her back using the remains of the old speech I heard as a kid. I seek the village at the end of this path. This time it's her who pauses, then repeats, "The village?" She pronounces it so differently from you that it makes you smile, but you confirm her guess. During the following minutes, you both try to get used to each other's speech. Whenever she uses the city tongue, she does so with sound she's clearly not used to saying out loud. But as you combine it with gestures and the few words you know from the old speech, it's enough to move the conversation forward rather smoothly. Finally, she asks if you have a message for the chief or the shaman. Tell me, I'll pass it to them. I need to speak with them myself. I'm the local Roadwarden. I have like a password that I was given. Ooh. Jabal says, I like it when stories games include actual moments of translation. It was very immersive. Even though she doesn't give any clear command to her mount, it takes a few steps forward, moving without needing to speed up quickly. After a confident leap, the beast lands on the crag right above you, allowing the warrior to look at you closely. Roadwarden, she says in the city tongue. Like Asterion, to city folk. You nod. What do Roadwardens do, really? Options. Okay, everyone. Friendly. I protect travelers and help settlements stay in touch with each other. That is what I do. Playful. Looking back at my last few days, I think I meant to do pretty much everything. Distance. The city of Hovlavin pays me for making the roads safer. Do they? Intimidating. I show her my blade. I meant to patrol my roads, but that involves a lot of bloodshed. Ugh. Vulnerable. It's just a fancy way of calling a rider for hire, like a messenger and an adventurer in one. I'm okay with vulnerable as well. As always. So I like friendly, playful, and vulnerable. What does everyone else feel? Rowan says playful is pretty good this time. It is, unusually. I really have been doing a lot. We have a couple votes for playful. Quarrel says friendly. Jabal likes friendly and playful. I mean, this is what I do. This is what I do. Fluffle likes friendly and playful. I'm going to go... Look, in my heart, I always like to choose friendly, and I'm going to do it. That doesn't mean I'm predictable, although I am an extremely predictable person. You hear a monstrous roar coming from the mountains. The woman looks around with a raised spear, and when her eyes return to you again, her voice is strict. You'll find nothing for you here, as we seek no travels, no in touch. She pulls the reins and makes the Saurian turn around, then leaps away up the path, staying on top of the crags. Something's happening not far away from here, she shouts from a distance. Let's not risk staying around, we'll speak in the village. I tell Shadowfax to keep up with the beast. Ooh. You ride through the corridor of rock faces led by the jumping Saurian. The woman in a helmet blows a large horn, longer and thinner than a ram's, with enough power to cause an avalanche, and once you reach the massive wooden gate blocking the path, it's already open. The few people you've seen so far are well equipped, wearing heavy jackets, shields, and steel weapons, though some of them seem a bit old. Your surroundings get more spacious, with small garden patches and stone sheds spread on both sides of the path. Riding by the onlookers, you enter a trot, then a walk. The locals pay as much attention to you as to your mount, commenting on your appearance in the old speech. Unlike the guards, the workers are carrying rather simple tools, many of them made of bones or rocks. Their woolen, undyed outfits are appropriate for hard labour, worn and patched up, but also heavy, protecting their owners from the cold mountain winds. The one thing that differentiates them from one another is their headgear. Every person you see is wearing something on their head, mostly ear-covering kerchiefs, vividly dyed, with embroidered patterns of leaves, flowers, and gems. They are sea folk, no doubt about it. They have long limbs, hardly any beards, and the few children you see have uncovered hair, wavy and dense. Yet their paleness is unusual, as if they spend little time outside. Your guide is nowhere in sight, but so far no one has tried to stop you. I don't want to trample anyone. I dismount and look for the Saurian rider. Quirrell says we've arrived at the planet of hats. Did I misread something? She awaits you at the cave mouth, where the teeth and tongue are so distinct you doubt they were shaped so without the villagers' interference. The crisp air carries the scent of late summer meadows. Aside from the discussions of farmers and guards, you hear the roaming wind and the gloating ibexes, but the terraces and crops around you are quiet, making you realize it's the first village you've seen in quite a while, where there's no constant noise of humming water or of heavy labour. You're safe here, but not welcome, you hear from your guide in the old speech. She's not the only guard in sight. The spears, slings, and clubs are getting a bit too numerous for your taste. We need not a rock from you, rider. You weren't invited by us. Unless you've a gift worthy of our chiefs and shamans' time, we see your visit as needless. You realize she's more than 40, and even if she has a small stature, no one seems eager to replace her as a negotiator, or to question her authority. The accent of those who chat in the distance is so dense you can't catch a single word. I need to bring your tribe a gift so I can see your leaders. She lets out a dishonest laugh. Or why would they want to see you? Your problems are but a pebble in a stream, and we seek no change of the current. I I show her my possessions. Do any of these interest you? Is there something I could do for you instead? I would be curious about that. I'm trying to find a Styrian. I'm trying to find a few hunters from the village of Creeks. Were they around? I need to hide, sleep. I get back to Shadowfax. I won't get any higher. I should powder the basalt rock here. Interesting. Do I have anything that interests you? The cask of cider! She finds a few things that her tribe could use and puts them on an unfolded blanket. Her neighbours gather around, lightheartedly commenting on the things you carried into the mountain. I would happily give you the cask of cider. You explain what the cask's contents are, warning it won't stay fresh for long. You don't know how to say cider in the old speech, so you instead call it a sweet apple beer, pointing at the tree behind you. A few of the locals are greatly interested in taking a whiff, but you explain it's not possible. We rarely make hard drinks in the mountains, admits the Saurian rider. We can agree to such a gift. Very well, take it. She gives you a few minutes to pack up your belongings. Your beast will be safe here, she says confidently. We have enough meat, hides, and muscles. We won't rob you. Let it graze. After you tether Shadowfax to a tree, keeping it away from most garden patches, you head to the cave mouth. The corridor goes down, getting darker after only a few steps. But seeing how often the locals go through it without any source of light, you doubt there's going to be many treacherous steps ahead of you. Still, your guide leaves the shed with a lantern made of old brass, with windows engraved with winged dragons circling around an erupting volcano. So I'd forgotten we had the cider as well, Quirrell. I'm so excited that we had it still. I grab my own crude lantern. The tongue sticking out of the entrance doesn't go on for long. For some time you descend gently, then encounter a set of spiral stairs. Once you reach the bottom, you find yourself in a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers, some of them sunk in darkness, others lit by campfires, with smoke leaving through holes in the ceilings. Spread among them are dozens of children and elders, but also workbenches and other spots worked by adults, some of them too busy to even spare you a look. There are woodworkers, water carriers, potters, flour millers, cooks. You hardly notice how stuffy the air is down here. Seeing the consistently spacious corridors, conveniently wide enough for even an obese shell to squeeze through them, you can't tell how many, if any, of these passages were not made by human hands. The entire walk takes you only a few minutes, but the sheer amount of rooms you walk by makes you lose your way many times, before you reach a short path leading to a bright, warm chamber, to which the Saurian rider invites you with a gesture. You smell smoke and humidity, and as you listen, the humming of a stream reaches you from below. Much louder are the cries of an infant, amplified by an echo. I put away my lantern and enter the chamber. This is very exciting. Calmly, I believe in this game it is hard cider. The simple huts are short enough for you to see their hide-covered roofs from above, and as you look at the ceiling, there's no water dripping on them. They don't offer much privacy either. Even if the entrances were covered with a curtain, the gaps between the bones let you peek inside. It's as if they one day collapsed here from the surface, losing their purpose, but remaining as a relic of the old way of living. While the huts are only filled with furs and a few pieces of clothing, the chamber is far from empty. A few women, some of them very young, some in their 30s or 40s, are sitting around the campfire feeding infants or playing with toddlers. There's a man stretching a piece of leather on a tanning rack, and you hear splashes of water coming from a corner. I feel like you wouldn't actually do tanning around people. Isn't it really stinky? When your eyes land on two people sitting in a circle of wooden stumps, their gaze makes your destination clear. I step closer. They are sitting a few steps away from one another, and as you're invited to sit down, the three of you form a triangle. The air is heavy, but you smell no sweat or dirt. And aside from the crying child and echoes of distant play and conversations, the dancing lights and crackling wood are no less cozy than an inn in the evening. The man in his 50s is leaning forward, resting his elbows on his thighs, more like a tired guard than a distinguished ruler. He's dressed just as heavily as the people you saw on the surface, but the fabric of his clothes is so dark blue that it's almost black. He's barefoot, and you wonder if that's enough to not make him sweat under the layers of wool. His helmet, shield, and sword are resting on the ground. His long grey hair freely surrounds his face, which is covered with wrinkles and scars. Some beast was lucky enough to leave a mark deeper than that. The man's nose is missing, leaving a disfigured hole. The woman could be 25, and has absent eyes that are roving over your outfit, equipment, face, and hands. She's dressed much more humbly than the man. Her tunic and pants are undyed and short enough to reveal her calves and forearms. She has unevenly cut short black hair and a yellow kerchief that's hanging from her neck, lazily thrown over her back. Her legs are stretched out in front of her, resting on the heels of her sandals and swaying left and right, spread just above an unfolded sack, covered with gemstones, pebbles, and animal bones. She keeps her hands on the nearest trunk, desperate for something to support her back. Both of them are unusually pale, but the woman looks almost sick. I introduce myself. This is good. This is very interesting. You speak in the old speech and the man smiles. Let's use city tongue from now on. Our shaman, he looks at the young person in a light outfit. I taught her what I knew, but we both need to practice. She frowns and waves her hand in front of her nose, as if there's a fly there. Hello. Her voice is both delicate and annoyed. Shaman Gayen, she struggles to utter. The man stares at you, speaking more confidently, and with a greater familiarity of the sounds he uses. And I'm Cephas, the chief of the tribe of the Green Mountain. Your gift built you our time, but we've busy lives. I try to get used to their dialect. Who sends you, Strider? Friendly, I speak softly. No one. As a Roadwarden, I wanted to be sure you don't need my help. That's not strictly true. I smile, my curiosity. Distanced. No, it's just terrible. I look them in the eyes, represent the interests of the city of Hovlava. No. Intimidating. I say a soundless curse. Why do you care? Getting here, sweat and dragon bones. I deserve to speak with you. I hate that. Vulnerable. I think about the words of the old druid. I'm a freedom seeker, a friend of the speakers of the forest. Okay, I think I'm just going to go vulnerable here because I really trust the forest speaker. He straightens up, giving you a serious look. Then sit down with us and rest, for we've all found our freedom here. The shaman gives you both puzzled looks but says nothing. May to freedom seeker be free of hunger and welcomed, he says to her, then addresses the women sitting at the fire in the old speech. Soon after you sit down, an aromatic bowl of stew lands in your hands, warming them up. The chief and the shaman also receive very small servings, accompanying you. Once the bowls are taken away, the gentle voice of Gayen breaks the silence. Can't move mountains for you, but we listen and share. She reaches for a few gems in various colours and puts them in a single row. Alright. You know what, everyone? I am going to stop here today because I have a very growing headache, which is probably just because I've been wearing myself a little bit thin with anxiety today. This is incredible. I can't believe we found the hidden village. I can't believe what we learned about Thias and Steep Village and everything. That was just absolutely wild discoveries. Thank you so much for the distraction and the company and the discussions. I think it's been really, really good. I hope you all have a lovely rest of the week. Hang on. Let me close my game so I can get to my end screen. Oh. Successfully quitted. Alright, everyone. Yeah, I hope you have a lovely rest of the week. I'll be back on Friday with more Outer Wilds, which I am definitely really looking forward to, and hopefully I will be headache-free by then. Yeah. Goodbye, everyone.